Hi ladies, and welcome back to the OPT training series. Today is going to be part 2, and so what we're going to be focusing on is kind of a continuation of our last training, but specifically around macros. So the last video, if you haven't watched it, make sure you watch it. The first 13 minutes of the video are going very in-depth over the 3 primary body types and how to help you to identify which one you are.
Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free.
I want to show you guys kind of like it's going to be mostly a voiceover today. I'm going to be kind of showing you like in depth how I actually personally use my fitness pal, and that's personally my favorite way to track macros because 1, it's free, and 2, it's pretty user friendly. So I'm going to show you guys how I navigate that, and then also how you guys can do that as well. I'll kind of give you guys some good ideas around like calorie ranges, because really from my experience, calories from my fitness pal are usually higher than what I would recommend for your goals. So I'll go a bit over that as well, and kind of again show you guys how to change the goals in there and just really kind of more customize it for your needs, understand a better way to use the product. For those of you that are following along with the app, I wanted to let you guys know that as of last night, I have finished, there's like 7 new full 1-week meal plans in there. So I actually designed these specifically for ectomorphs, endomorphs, mesomorphs, so all the 3 primary body types, but you'll see like low carb plans, which is really good for endomorphs. There's going to be a keto plan that is in there that's a full 1 week, and there's a couple different ones in there, so go check them out. It is a one-time purchase, and these plans you can use forever. These are also the plans I've used for many of my clients, and these have gotten such amazing results. If you follow this, I promise you will lose weight. With the meal plans, you do not want to swap out like the snacks on there. I will include in the files section when you purchase it that says, here's meal replacement items, okay? So there are certain things that work, certain things that don't. So let's say that day 1 and day 2, you do not want to switch out any of the food items on day 1 or day 2 for each other, if that makes sense. You want to keep it exactly how it is because the macros are very specific to that type of plan. So if you're an endomorph and I created a low carb plan for you, or it's on the app, you don't want to mess with it too much. Otherwise, it does take the ratios off and you're going to be having more carbs, less carbs, whatever. So if you're just following the plans, you don't even need to track. If you just follow the plans 100%, you will lose weight, and I promise you will. Let's go ahead and get into the macro training. Okay, ladies, so we have my health apps right here. We're going to go into the MyFitnessPal. If you haven't downloaded it, go ahead and download it. Again, it is free. So this is one that I use for my clients and even myself sometimes for macros and meal plans, but I'm kind of take you guys through this. This is your home screen. Again, it just kind of has like things they want to sell you. And then other than that, you have your diary. You can do, the next day, the previous day. The thing I really like about this is you can kind of see like if you have the same meal every day, you could just kind of swipe into it and it'll just do it all for you. So see right here, this breakfast meal plan is just automatically getting added in here. So this is something I kind of like to eat. I actually helped created this for one of my vegan clients as well. So that's kind of how you're going to add your meals in. For lunch, you can really add in anything you need to add. Something I really enjoy about this app is there is an option to scan right here. If you have a scan, like a barcode, you can also scan the meal. How cool is that? If you want to pay for it, which I'm not going to do. So you don't need to do that, but that's just an option that you have. From here, you can kind of add whatever you're going to add. And you'll notice I really like to do things in ounces. So in order to do macros, you guys, you're going to have to get a food scale. So really, you're just going to keep adding your meals, go on, so forth. And at the end of the day, you're going to go into your nutrition, and this is where you can see your macros. You would think your macros are right here. These are the ratios I have that are currently set up in the MyFitnessPal, which is actually incorrect. So I'll show you guys how to change that, but we're just going to look at this for now, the nutrients. So protein, carbs, and fats. That's our primary focus. And if you look, you can see the total goal of how many grams of protein, carbs, and fats you want each day. And you want to be over or under, like, not you want to be, it's not going to be precise. And so if you're over by 5 grams or under by 5 grams in a certain category, don't freak out. That's totally fine. And that's going to ensure you guys are really staying on track with your macros. Each of these actually has a certain amount of calories per gram. And so you can see that, like, so far for the day, all I have is 29 grams of protein and I have 48 grams left to hit my goal. So it's really nice because it keeps track of things really well for you. Carbs, that would be the goal. And then fats, same kind of thing. So that's what you're really going to be looking at. The ratios, really not too crazy much. But let's say we wanted to edit this, because my goal on average is about 1,500 calories a day. And if I wanted to change that, I'd go into more, goals, and you can put in your current weight, your starting weight, your goal weight, and then just so you guys know, healthy weight loss is a maximum of 2 pounds per week. What happens if you have anything less, like more than that, is it's kind of like I told you guys in the last training. The quicker you lose weight, unfortunately, because it's probably in an unhealthy way, you're going to probably gain that weight back. So the best way to ensure keeping the weight off is going to be a slow, consistent weight loss. So my activity level is, see how this will update your macros. I would recommend, like, if you're doing, I work out quite a bit, so I definitely put very active in there, but I know how to customize my macros and my calories for myself. So I'm going to tell you guys, pretty much all of you guys are going to do just fine with 1,500 calories a day, okay? You don't want to have too much less than that unless you're trying to, like, really lean out, and then at that point, it's going to be like the minimum calories I would ever have you guys do would be 1,200 calories, and even that's a little drastic. So some of you guys are like, oh, I really want low calories. But remember, we're going for a lifestyle here, and you can lose tons of weight just doing it correctly. So with me being a mesomorph, I kind of like to play with these macros. So carbs right here, as you can see, I was able to kind of update these as I tapped on it. You can kind of set the ratios right here. And this is where that training really plays in well with this, because you guys can kind of just go in and adjust these as needed. So this is a pretty good ratio for almost everybody. Like, you almost go in and you could do this. This will really work for any body type. If you want to go ahead and screenshot that, you can. For me, I need more carbs for sure. Like, I don't do well on low carb as a mesomorph and with heavier lifting and cardio days. So I'll actually do something a little bit more similar to these ratios right here. This is like perfect for mesomorphs, myself included. If I was an endomorph and needing more low carb, the lowest I would recommend is 20% carbohydrates. And then you could really kind of do whatever you want with protein and fats here. There's pros and cons to having more protein and more fat. You really don't want to have too much protein in a day. And I will leave the description as to why here. So that is advice from my really good friend that is a registered dietitian. I learned that in physiology as well, but that's kind of a great way to explain that. So don't minimize what people are saying, because everybody tells you have tons of protein, but you really actually don't need to do that to lose weight and to look healthy and look great. If I was an ectomorph, so that's the tall, skinny ladies, you could actually have up to 60% carbohydrates. You guys are so lucky. And then just kind of play around with the macros right here. And this is where the reason you actually want to do more carbs is because our muscles, they love carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the number one source of energy in our bodies. They just really the words are hard for me, you guys. They transfer to energy the easiest versus proteins or fats. And that's actually why a lot of people do keto, and keto is so low. And there is a lot of science behind keto as to why it's actually not positive for you to do long term. I know some of you guys might be mad about that, but your ratios would be closer to about this. Let's see, actually, closer to about this. And really just, it's so minimal. Usually a lot of people don't have over 30 carbs a day on keto, but the only problem with keto is that it can actually make your blood a little bit more acidic. And most people don't do keto correctly. There's a healthy way to do keto and a horrible way to do keto. But I want you to ask yourself, is this something I can do realistically for the rest of my life? In my experience, 99% of people cannot do keto forever. So if you want to just kind of live like a normal human being and like enjoy some food occasionally, it's all about moderation. And these macros will work for any of you guys. Okay, so I am going to set these to right here. We're going to check it. It's going to calculate right here. See how it kind of automatically switched up the calories? It does that. So make sure you guys watch that because sometimes it'll change. So I would recommend screenshotting this if you would like some, ideal macro settings really for most of you guys. And you're going to go back. And then we can see, should be updated. Perfect. So this is where, you can see if you lose weight, there you go. That's how, and again, I use this for everybody, so it's all the way up and down all the time. But so you're going to want to track again and make sure you guys are really hitting your macros. These would be all the macros that you need to focus on every day. So I hope this made sense. This is how I teach people every day. You guys are going to learn more just by simply doing it. So I'll kind of show you guys one thing that's kind of interesting in here. Like we'll see, let's pull up almonds. Almonds are healthy, right? Almonds. Okay, here we go. Let's say we did like 30 almonds, okay? So something kind of interesting. When I first started doing this, I didn't realize how many calories are in like 30 almonds. Like 208 calories, but you'll see how many fats are there, how many grams of protein are there, how many grams of carbs are there. And this will teach you guys so much about the food you're eating and more about protein, carbs, and fats. What is a healthy fat? What is an unhealthy fat? And the nice thing about this app is it actually teaches you about that as you start to enter in your foods. And you really learn so much, again, about this stuff by just doing it. This is one of my favorite protein bars that I have a lot. It's excellent meal replacement. It's on one of the meal plans, actually. And when you're done at the end of the day, I'm going to show you guys what happens. Let's say that I didn't hit all my calories. So take a look at this information as to why it's not good for you to have less than 1,000 calories a day. Notice the minimum for women is 1,200, and for men, the minimum is 1,500. So again, it's not going to be healthy for you, and I like that it doesn't let you close it out because you really shouldn't be having too low of calories. It's going to slow down your metabolism, and long term, think about the older version of you. You want to look back and like be thankful and grateful for the choices you made to live longer. And you can see right here, this will give you great reminders. So I hope that this helps you guys. If you ever want to go in and like edit the food item, you can do, instead of like one piece, let's say I did 2 pieces, more fats, more proteins, and I probably went over my fat goal already. You can go to nutrition, and fats are only 6 grams over, so not too bad. But yeah, you're just going to kind of play around with this. And this is really the best way to like know how to eat correctly, do flexible dieting long term. And you know what? Let's go see if I can fit in. I have like 73 grams of carbohydrates left. You know what I love is chips. So let's say I feel like having chips tonight. Isn't that exciting? So let's say, I really like these. Look at that. I could have that much and still be within my macros. Isn't that nice? So that's why they call this flexible dieting, because you're more focused on the grams. See how far I went over on my fats. So you want to be mindful, and this is why I'm happy I'm going through this whole thing with you guys, but you want to make sure you plan out your days the day before, because if you don't know what you're eating, you will mess this up every time. So if you don't have a plan, you're not going to get this correctly. So I'd have to sacrifice this probably if I wanted to stick with those chips. And again, when you guys have questions about this, let me know. But we still have a bunch of carbs, and proteins is what we want to focus on. I'm going to do some brown rice. See, that's a ton of carbs. Quite a bit of calories as well. It is a healthy carbohydrate. But this will really teach you guys a lot about what you're putting into your bodies, more than like anything else. Protein, everyone always struggles with protein, including myself, because I actually really don't like meat very much. So let's say for dinner, I'm going to do like some shrimp. I'm more of a fish person. Shrimp is so high in protein. I love it. See, no carbs, no fats. It's awesome. So, and 6 ounces is quite a bit. I can definitely eat that much because I love my shrimp. And it really just kind of fills you up and makes you feel awesome. And let's say I wanted to do some quinoa. Okay, that'll kind of help me hit my carb goal. Over on my fats, let's see by how much. If you're bored, I apologize, but we are learning tons right now. Okay, so we're gonna go in and we got a couple more grams of protein and carbohydrates that we wanna hit. If I just want protein, meats are always fantastic. Like lean meats are always gonna be a great source of protein. If you don't like meat, you can always do, like tofu is great. Tofu. I have a lot of tofu. Say I do this. So we have fats and proteins. I don't want to go too high over my fats. There are different brands that will help with this. Let's see. So we could also do something like chicken. Or just like there's a lot of protein powders that are very low in carbs and very high in protein. I would recommend you guys look into that for you. This is a really popular brand of chicken that I use. Okay, look at this. We're getting really, really close. A little high on protein now, so we're just going to play around with this. I'm going to eliminate 1 piece. We're going to go back in again and just kind of keep playing around with it until we really just finalize the meal plan. And this would be what you're going to do every single day. This might seem tedious initially because, I mean, it kind of is. But then it's like almost kind of fun. Of course, I would say that, right, because I'm a trainer. But again, you're going to go down to the diary. Oh, so you're going to scroll down and go to the nutrition and focus on the grams. Again, you can be over or under by 5 grams. That's going to keep you the most on track for your meal plans and losing weight. The reason why we want to make sure we're eating this way is because it's all about calories in versus calories out. And as you guys remember, each type of macro supplies you with a certain amount of calories. So this is a fun way to just kind of like calories in versus out and being really balanced in your diet. If you're really high in protein and you're really low in carbs, that will actually release some excess water weight from your body, because the way that a carbohydrate molecule works is it binds to 2 molecules of water, and it actually causes you to look a little bit more puffy. But I mean, if you're eating healthy and you're drinking a lot of water, you're not going to look too crazy bloated. So don't get too much in your heads about that. And again, if you guys purchase a meal plan, this will all be done for you, and it includes a ton of information that I give to all of my brand new clients in terms of what seasonings you could use, everything that you could kind of use to help you along your weight loss journey with diet and exercise. So I hope this helped. I'd love your guys' feedback. Let me know what your primary takeaway is, and kind of give me some recommendations for some things you guys still would like some more in-depth training or information about.